So in this video, I'm going to show you how to disconnect the fuel lines from the fuel sender assembly on a 98 or older Ford Contour. The later models have a returnless fuel system, so it only has one line, and I'm not sure if the connectors are the same, but if they are, this procedure should also work. Now these connectors are kind of a weird design, and they're not very intuitive how they operate. And putting the line in is very simple. It's just a straight piece of plastic on the end of the line. It just pushes into the hole, and that's it. It goes right in. But there's a set of fingers that grab the line so it can't come out. And to remove them, you're supposed to squeeze these tabs on this little collar here, and then pull the line out. And this sounds great in theory, but in practice it's not so easy. And it's not very clear exactly what you're doing by squeezing these tabs. So what it turns out is that if this little collar comes off, the fitting actually has a sleeve that needs to be pushed down to release the line, because it's basically just a cone shaped inside that releases the line. So you're pushing this little cone in, and it spreads the fingers out so that they don't grab the line anymore. But Ford has chosen to add these little covers, which serve to support the line and protect the fitting and keep dirt out of it. But they also really make it tricky to depress that cone properly to get the line to release. Force is not the answer. If you're just prying up on the line really hard and it's not going anywhere, then you haven't actually successfully released the collar. Second thing that happens a lot is you squeeze these tabs and this collar pops up off the fuel sender assembly. And if that happens, the line will never come out. Because when this collar is popped up, it's no longer depressing the releasing cone inside here that pushes down to the fitting. It doesn't come up with the line. A lot of people assume it comes off with the line, and it doesn't. It's supposed to stay clipped into the sender assembly. So if it pops up, you got to snap it back down. Now once you understand the correct way of applying pressure to these things, they come right out. So these are the tools I use. Just a regular long flat-bladed screwdriver. It doesn't have to be a flathead. I'm just using the handle as a fulcrum. A pair of needle nose pliers, reasonably sized, and a pair of regular pliers that have the slip joint so you can make them bigger. So adjust those so they're bigger, and these have a nice reset here up in the notch. That makes it easier to grab the fitting. But any regular pair of pliers this will do. And I also like to take some silicone spray and spray it into where the tabs are and on around the line, because it helps lubricate the fitting to operate properly, especially if there's a bunch of crud buildup. This pump wasn't changed that long ago, but it's failed again, so I'm changing it. But this would a lot of times have a lot of crud buildup from road grime and whatever. So the basic setup here is you're going to take your screwdriver and you're just going to lay it in that groove here next to where the cover would go. You're going to take your needle nose pliers and you're going to place them under the tabs on the actual line, just like that. So the idea is you're going to push down on this to pull the line up, because it's basically impossible with your fingers. The tabs here are just too sharp and hard, and you can't really get a good angle. If you put it to the side or anywhere that's straight up, it's really hard to do. So once you have that set up, you're going to take your regular pliers, you're going to go over this and grab that locking collar so you can squeeze the tabs. Now you don't want to wail on it. If you squeeze too hard, you're just going to shatter the plastic. You just want to push it down and together enough that it works. And you don't want to let the locking collar pop up. So when you're doing this, you want to squeeze and push down at the same time. That's really the motion you want. You want to squeeze it and push it down. If it pops up when you start pulling the line out, it's never going to work. Okay, let's hope the camera stays there. So I'm going to turn the collar on the one that's already released, or if it wasn't already released, you can still turn the collar to get its tabs out of the way. Then kind of get the tabs as close to lined up with these tabs as you can, just so the pliers don't interact. Put your screwdriver here, and your needle nose pliers in here. Okay. And now I'm going to squeeze the tabs and push down at the same time, and the line will come right out, just like that. Okay. Now you see that started to pop up there? Once you get near the end, it's just springy, so once you get past the actual clip, it's fine. And there we go, line's out. So if you know how to squeeze it, it's just that simple. If you're fighting with it, you haven't applied enough force in the right direction. The key is you need to squeeze these tabs together and make sure that the collar is pushed down while you're doing it. If you're trying to use a pair of pliers from the side like this to squeeze it, you're never going to get it, because as you're doing this collar is inevitably just going to pop up. And the secret is you got to do it from the top so you can also press down at the same time that you're squeezing in. I hope this video helps someone try to do this, because I've seen a couple other that weren't really good at explaining it, and I've seen some people online discussing it, and no one seemed to really, know the secret. And so this is as best I could do to show you how I'm doing it with no specialty tools and with very little fighting with it.